Well, I decided that it's 4th of July and I want to do some half chickens today. And I'm going to do them on my ugly drum smoker. And I've been meaning to get a video put together for a while now that's basically showing you how to start a fire in a UDS. Specifically one of the ugly drum smokers that I've built. What I do is I've got my ugly drum here, and I've used it quite a bit, so it's a little bit cleaned out here, and that's the other side of it there. But anyway, then I got my cooking grate there, got my charcoal basket, and I got my diffuser plate. I always put a diffuser plate in them. I found that it really does help a lot to do that as far as maintaining temps. And then I've got a Weber charcoal chimney. This is the big one that you can get at Lowe's. And this is some peach wood that I've cut up into little chunks that if you're on our forums, Rick from our forums at SmokerBuilder.com forums, him and I did a wood trade and he hooked me up with some peach. And these are interesting little deals. I always used to use newspaper, and I also use my charcoal, my fish fryer burner as well, but these things here have been pretty handy at competitions. Basically, it's made by Weber, and they're just little wax cubes. This is for starting your chimney, but if you dump it out there, it's just a little cube, and like an ice cube, and I take and put 2 of them like that. Get another one out here. You don't ever want to use lighter fluid on these things. It's not real barbecue. If you're using lighter fluid, you're not doing it right. So I put them 2 deals on there like that. And then I got this charcoal chimney, and you can see those little cubes sit underneath of there like that. I'm going to fill this thing up with charcoal here in a second and light those 2 cubes on fire. Stand by. Okay, I filled up this charcoal chimney full of charcoal. I'm using a little bit of Kingsford in a bag there that I had left over from another cook, but I got this bag of, they normally don't have Royal Oak briquettes in our area, so I went ahead and got that bag, and I like using them better. There's my 2 ice cubes. You can see they've got some charcoal dust on them from when I dumped it. These things are awesome because they seriously catch on fire right away. If you can see that there. And then you just stand this chimney right there over top of them. I don't know if you can see that because of the lighting, but you can see that it's already starting to burn. The good thing about these little cubes is they don't leave any flavor on the charcoal. We got some black smoke happening right now, but that's mainly the charcoal getting started down there, the dust. But so here in a little bit, whenever that charcoal turns to salt and pepper, we're going to dump it inside of our basket here. But in the basket now, I do this thing. I don't know if it's the original Minion method, but I call it that. Basically, I'm going to fill that basket with a bunch of charcoal, and I like this lump that Frontier makes. If you get it down by Joplin, I think they're using some pecan in that because I get a real good pecan kind of an odor from it. You can smell it in there burning, but anyway, I'm going to mix that with some Royal Oak lump, and what happens is if you just use the Frontier straight like that, it'll ash up real bad and kind of block off your air from your fire. So if you mix lump with the Royal Oak briquettes, you still get the benefits of lump, but but it's not going to ash up as bad because you're using a lot of Royal Oak in there too. So I'm going to fill that basket up real quick, and I'll be right back. I wanted to show you how I do this, how I fill this up when I'm using 2 different kinds. I kind of layer it. I put a layer of that in there, and then I put a layer of this lump in there on top of that. So there's the first layer of Royal Oak, of briquettes. Okay, I just put some lump in there on top of the briquettes. Now I'm going to finish it off with some more lump, or some more briquettes, and then the rest of the lump that I've got. Okay, so there you have it. I've got lump and briquettes mixed in there. And then what I do with that chimney, whenever it's ready to go, I just basically make a well. Some guys pour it off to one side. I like to make a well in the middle here. DC Man, the plumber on our website, on the SmokerBuilder.com forums, he likes to use a coffee can in the middle. That's a really good way of doing it, but I don't have any metal coffee cans here. So I don't drink that canned coffee. Stuff is bad for you. Anyway, so it's like making mashed potatoes and gravy here, getting your spot going. And I like to make that spot in the middle where I can see plumb through the bottom of it, there, like that. So we're going to let this chimney get done here, and then I'll show you how I pour that in there. Okay, we're starting to get the salt and pepper look happening there. Smartest thing at this point is to put on a dang glove. Welding gloves work pretty good. Bear with me. Okay. And you always want to have something with a hook on it available for letting that basket down in the drum, because that thing, the barrel itself is like a charcoal chimney. Once you start lowering that basket in there, all the heat's going to be coming right up on your arm, so you want to make sure and have a long hook. Crowbar works the best, but I forgot mine, of course. So we take our chimney and we dump it right down in that. Keep your head and hands and stuff out from away of the top of that chimney. And you just dump that thing down in there like that. Set your chimney back up on top of the grate, because it'll still burn your concrete. And then I've got my peach wood chunks here. I just kind of sprinkle a few. You don't want to put a whole lot of wood in there, because, you know, if you put a lot of wood in there, you're not going to get blue smoke. You're going to get a whole lot of white smoke, because you're not putting a whole lot of air in there. But anyway, here I grab my basket like this. I'm gonna have to set you down for a minute while I do that, because that sunbuck's heavy, so bear with me. Okay, I just set my basket down in there. Now I'm gonna grab this diffuser, and I've got like an arrow on here because I've got to set this in there a certain direction. That's how I remember where to put it. Okay, my diffuser's in there, and I didn't clean my grate yet, but I'm gonna stick him in there anyway. Clean drum makes the best barbecue, so there we go. Now I've still got all my air inlets shut on the bottom here, and that's just to help discourage the smoke and the heat from coming way up on my hands so bad. So I open up my exhaust, and I take all these caps off here. So now we're getting air in there on the fire. And then last thing is I open my ball valve, and we just watch the temperature go up. And you can see it's hot. It's already up to 200-ish. These thermometers are highly inaccurate, and I did take a minute ago and kind of wrenched around on it just a little bit, and I got it calibrated sort of. So what I do is I showed you a minute ago, I open all the caps on the bottom, and I open the ball valve. And what happened was this thing shot up to like 250 really fast. And so whenever that thing gets up around 250, you want to put all the caps back on it and just leave the ball valve open. And what you'll do then is just kind of watch your thermometer. Well, this thing's been running right between 225 and 250 now for about 30 or 45 minutes now. And the thing about these drum smokers, is once you get that temperature where you want it, you want to be patient, because every single adjustment you make, it's going to take about 30 minutes for that thing to straighten itself out. It's going to shoot up or shoot way down in temperature depending on if you opened or closed the valve. And then it just takes a while for it to equalize back out. Well, I mean, this thing's holding dead on, 225-ish or so. And anyway, it's running pretty good. So I do use a digital inside my drum. I use a Maverick ET732 is what I use, because it's got a remote with it, and I can take the remote inside with me, and the drum will sit out here and do its thing, and I can watch it from inside. And if the temperature gets out of control, it'll send off an alarm and tell me. I'll put that in here whenever I put the meat on. Another thing that happens all the time is, like on these drum smokers, you'll be outside in the wind, and depending on the direction of the wind blowing, the wind is actually coming from that way right now, kind of over by the garage. It's whipping around in between my truck and the garage door here, and so I've got the ball valve open, but it's facing the direction the wind is blowing. So but then on the other side, I'm not going to open that cap because the wind's blowing directly into it, and so that'll actually act like as if you had a fan blowing on that fire down there, and it'll cause your drum to get out of control. Another thing is when the wind is blowing across the top of your drum, like on this pipe nipple there, it causes like a soda bottle effect. Like whenever you blow across a soda bottle and it makes that noise, it's actually pulling a vacuum on the drum. And so you can go get a high wind cap, like for a water heater vent or for a furnace vent or something, or you can just take your chimney and just set it down right on top of it like that, and that chimney, whenever the air blows across the top of the chimney, it's going to tend to draw air in through these holes on the bottom of it, which is going to cause it to cause a draft right there, and it won't be a high wind draft, it'll just be a normal draft. So that'll kind of help keep your drum under control. Running these drum smokers is all about air control, and so the more air in the drum or moving through the drum, the hotter that fire is going to be. So we just try our best to keep everything tight, keep your lid down, keep it sealed real good. Don't take it off unless you have to. And anyway, here in a little bit, I'm going to put some meat on here. We're going to have some half chickens tonight for dinner. Thanks for watching.